Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another episode of the Direct Sellers Podcast. I'm Rachel Perry, your host, and today we're going to talk all about motivation. You heard me. Have you ever had a time when you're just like, I just don't want to do anything? I just don't want to do anything. I can't get excited about what I do. I just don't feel like doing anything. I know the answer is yes, because we all feel that way sometimes. We all do. So today I have 5 things that might help you step out of that sort of blah state of being. Okay. But before we do that, I just wanted to let you know that if you are ready to have consistent 3 to 5K months, find me on Instagram, message me on Instagram at Rachel A. Perry, message me the word or the term 3 to 5K, and I will show you exactly how to do that. I have a 3-step system and I'm talking about it all the time, but if you would like to know what that is, just message me on Instagram at Rachel A. Perry, 3 to 5K, and we'll chat. Okay. Now, I have to tell you, I have been struggling with motivation this week. And this is so normal. It's so normal. And I know plenty of you are dealing with this too. I think after the holidays, oftentimes this happens for many people. I think it's the time of year, right? It's cold for many of us. If you're in Australia, it's not. But you know what I mean? Like if you are in winter, the winter season, it's hard to get motivated. I think a lot of times we just want to sit by the fire, curl up, and do nothing. Is that just me? Okay, it's just me. But the thing is our business can't function. It won't be successful. You won't be bringing in the money you need to bring in if we allow ourselves to just sit by the fire and do nothing, right? So we're going to dive into that today. But like I said, this week, I've been struggling a little bit. And no, I hate the word struggle. And if you're in any of my coaching programs, you know, I hate the word struggle. It's been a little bit challenging this week. Part of it is because we had a snow day. Part of it is because we had Monday off. The kids did, not me. And I think I'm just tired. I'm just tired. So some things that I will also say this. I was going to say some things that I do with that we're going to dive into, but I believe that I probably have ADHD. And I think I've shared this before. My kids have ADHD, like it runs in my family. I've always had a hard time focusing, but I just assumed it was because I wasn't interested in the subject. I'm very scattered in my brain. And I was watching someone who is an expert with ADHD. She was talking and she was just sharing things about her that she was going through as she was also diagnosed with ADHD. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is me. I always thought that I was like, it was hard for me to focus, or I just would get bored too easily, or I find it hard to do just one thing. I always have like 25 things going on at the same time. I just thought that was me and being a mom. But I've realized that it's probably most likely that I have ADHD. Now, being that it runs in my family, being that my kids have it, there's a very good chance that I do as well. And really, only one of them has been diagnosed. The other 2 have dyslexia. And ADHD often goes hand in hand. But the thing is I've been able to manage, right? They manage. Like we all manage, except my son, who really does have a challenge with it. But I said something to my kids. I was like, guys, I think I might have ADHD. And they were like, obviously you do. Like, duh. And I remember that same experience happened when John Mark got diagnosed. I had friends who were telling me that John Mark had ADHD. And I was like, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. John Mark's ADHD shows itself like his head is in the clouds 100%. I would say 90% of the time, right? He wanders around, he'll talk to himself. It's like all the things where you're like, what is wrong with my kid? He doesn't quite fit in. He's a little behind in things, not so much academics, but emotionally. Well, no, not emotionally, socially. Emotionally, he's beyond. But when they diagnosed him, when we got him tested, the doctor was like, absolutely like off the charts ADD. And his is attention deficit, much like mine, the focusing piece. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Well, let's go down this road a little bit. If you have ADHD, the motivation factor is going to be probably even bigger because, and I am no expert with ADHD. Okay. None at all. I've done research, but I'm no expert. I know that part of the ADHD is like feeling like you're the most motivated person and the least motivated person all at the same time. It's like being the most focused person and the most least focused person. It's wacky in your brain, right? So if you do identify, if you've been diagnosed, if all those things, then the motivation piece is going to be even harder for you. That's not to say that you just have to like throw your hands up and go, oh, well, I'm giving up. No, it just means you need to be more aware and come up with strategies to help pull you out of this motivation funk. Okay. So, but I'm speaking to everyone today, not just those that might have ADHD. And let's be real, like as moms, if you're a mom, or you do more than one thing, right? Like you do more than just your 9 to 5 or whatever. We probably all have a little bit of ADHD in us. So I think when that lack of motivation kicks in, sometimes you just have to take a little step back. You have to take a little step back. It's almost like you have to remove yourself from the situation, kind of take yourself out of it and look down on it and think, okay, what is it here that's the problem? Okay, am I tired? Am I physically tired? Did I get enough sleep last night? You guys, hello. Did I get enough sleep last night? The answer is probably no. But did I get enough sleep last night? Have I had lunch? Did I eat breakfast? Right? All these things that we sometimes forget, that really does impact our motivation. Because if we don't feel good inside our body, it's very hard for us to feel motivated. Okay? So I want you to take a step back and just really try and identify why. What is it? Now, if there are going to be times in your life when you are literally just physically, emotionally wiped out and you've got nothing left to give. And if that's the reason for your lack of motivation, you got to give yourself grace. And I know we hear that all the time, but you have got to give yourself grace, my friend. Because if you've had a death in the family or you've lost a job or you've moved or you're fighting cancer, whatever it is, you've got to give yourself so much grace because all these shoulds, all these expectations we have for ourselves, that's just going to make us feel worse. Sometimes we actually do need to step back and rest because the work is in the rest. But that's not how it is all the time, right? Other times it's literally just that you can't see. That's not me this week. This week, well, I mean, I'm tired, but this week it's not that I need to step back. It's just I need to be like I need to come to Jesus moment. Okay. So for me, it's probably I'm not eating great. I'm not eating great, in fact. Because I get so busy I forget lunch sometimes. That's making me tired. And when I'm tired, I'm not motivated. Right? It all goes hand in hand. But another thing that you can do is to take a walk. Now, it's been like 10 degrees here, so I'm going to be real and say I have not been taking walks. All right. I do think a walk would help, but I'm not taking a walk because I have no desire to be outside in 10-degree weather. My steps are way down, but oh well. Okay. But take a walk if you can. That even if it's just around the block, there is so much power in fresh air and moving your body. So take a walk. Go take 15 minutes. That's it. That's all. It doesn't have to be like a power walk. It can be a stroll. Just get out there. Get out of your situation. Get out of where you are. Move. Change it. Change your environment. The next thing is to really identify what it is that's bogging you down. So sometimes we feel unmotivated when we're stressed about something. So when I was doing my first direct sales business, I sold jewelry, and I hated dealing with replacements and exchanges. I don't know why. You know what? I hate going to the post office. I don't know what it is, but I hate going to the post office. And I didn't have my own I think I had my own scale, but I didn't have labels or something. There was some reason why I had to go to the post office. And I hated it. I literally hated it. And I would put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off. Okay. That bogged me down. And when I knew that I had a lot of those to do, I didn't want to do it. And I was unmotivated because I knew what I had to do was something I didn't want to do. Right. Some people feel that way about follow-up. Some people feel that way about content creation. Sometimes some people feel that way about getting bookings on their calendar if you still do parties. Here's my strategy for that. The first is automate it or create a system for it that makes it less overwhelming. So like follow-up, y'all, nobody has any excuse for not doing follow-up because you can create a follow-up in Project Broadcast. Go to rachelaperry.com/project broadcast. Done. Sign up. Okay. Get it done. The second thing that's important is to do that thing first. So when you decide that you're going to work, like I'm going to work today, put one thing on your to-do list and make it that one thing that you don't want to do and just do it. So like for me, if it was a replacements and exchanges, I'd say, okay, I have to do 2 replacements and exchanges today. That's it. And then I can be done. It's like bite size. And I'm giving myself a limit and I'm saying, then you can stop. Then you can be done for the day. Now, what has happened to me is that I do it and then I'm like, oh, this isn't so bad. Now I can do other things. I feel more motivated to do other things because I've done the thing that's really annoying me. Now, if you have like 50 follow-ups to do and you really don't want to do it, make it smaller, bite-sized chunks, like I would with my replacements and exchanges. Make them smaller, okay? Because then you take that bite, what is it? How do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. Also, why would you be eating an elephant? You know what I'm saying? But you get where I'm going with that. The fourth idea would be to tap into your internal why. That takes a little bit more time. Sometimes we don't know what our internal whys are, and that's frustrating. But we have usually 2 whys, an external one and an internal one. So for example, your external why as to why you're building this business might be because you want to make more money. But the internal why would be deeper than that. Okay. So you ask yourself, why do I want to make more money? Well, I want to make more money so that I can pay some of the bills each month. Well, why do you want to pay more bills each month? Because there's so much stress in our family that I want to be able to relieve that stress. Why do you want to relieve that stress? Well, I feel so guilty because I've decided to stay at home with the kids and now we're down a paycheck. And so my husband is carrying the load. So why is that important to you? Well, it's important to me because I want to contribute, right? So you're getting deeper. That's your internal why. Your internal why is because you want to relieve the stress within your family. You want to contribute so it's not all on your husband. And I use that as an example because that was my why when I first started my direct sales business. So you need to tap into that internal why. And if you don't know what your internal why is, ask yourself those deep questions. What else? Why? What else? Why? So when you answer, why do I do this business? Answer that and then go deeper and then go deeper and then go deeper and then go deeper. And then you'll tap into that emotional piece because the emotion is what motivates us. The emotion is what keeps us going. The emotion is how we feel it, right? If you're just like, yeah, I just want to make an extra $1,000 a month, it's easy to be detached from that why. But I want you to be attached to your why. Because when you're attached to it, it's going to be so much more motivational. And it's going to push you forward even when you don't want to do this. And I just want to take a time out to tell you, it is so possible for you to make $3,000 to $5,000 a month in this direct sales business of yours. It is. This is not unattainable. It is crazy to believe that you can make $50,000 a year doing this business. I've been there. I've done it. You can do it. You just have to do it the right way. You just have to follow the steps, and you don't have to rely on parties. Okay. I can't express to you enough how attainable this is. It doesn't mean you don't have to work. It doesn't mean you're going to get overnight results, but it absolutely is attainable. And I just felt I wanted to encourage you there. Okay. The last step when it comes to like fighting this motivation struggle is to figure out what lights you up. What lights you up in your business? If there's nothing at all that lights you up, then you might need to like reevaluate what you're doing. But is there anything that lights you up? Is it having conversations with people about your product? Is it using your product? Is it looking through your catalog and seeing the new things that have just come out? Is it doing parties? Is it doing vendor events? What is it? What is it? There's got to be one thing at least that you love doing. In fact, I asked one of my 3 to 5K clients the other day. She was feeling unmotivated, that was feeling like she was going through the motions. And I asked her what lights her up. She sells Pampered Chef. And I said, well, what lights you up? And she said, she took a picture. She was out having pizza and wine with someone, I guess. She's like, this is what lights me up. And I'm like, okay, so you going out eating pizza and wine is what lights you up. Why don't you create that situation in your business? Why don't you create an opportunity for people to come and make pizza and have some wine in your business? Will people come? I'm sure a couple of people will come. Is that like a home party? Yeah, it is. But that lights you up. So lean into that piece of it, because what lights you up is what's going to work for you, right? Now, of course, going to the party example, like, yeah, their parties don't work the way they used to. But my friends, like, do what lights you up. And if it is connecting with people in person, figure out how you can do that. It doesn't have to be like the old school parties. You could even do pizza and wine somewhere. I don't know. You just have to think out of the box, but do what lights you up. Do what excites you. You've got to tap into that excitement piece. Okay. Like, for example, for me, I love teaching. I love getting in front of a bunch of people, and I love helping you better your business. So who knows? Maybe I'll put on a live workshop again. I do them actually weekly. But what is it that lights you up? And do more of that. Okay? So just to recap for how to get motivated again. Take a step back. Take a step back. Number 2, take a walk. Number 3, identify what it is that's bogging you down. Number 4, tap into your internal why. And number 5, do what excites you. Okay? Break out of that mold that you've put yourself in. Break out of that box that you've put yourself in. It's time to think out of the box. My friends, beautiful listeners, thank you for being here today. I'll be back next week with another episode of the Direct Sellers Podcast. Until then, take care.